Hello, Gaddis Gamers. So let's talk about the different type of gamers that we have in our community. As Gaddis Gamers, we know if you put it on the table, we will play it. But let's start with the different types of gamers that you're going to run into when you're at the game store or at a convention. And what are the unique qualities of each one of those, and what do they bring to the table? So first off, at the top tier, the people who spend the most money on, I think, games because they change army so often and are probably the most prickliest to play with because they have a very narrow definition of gaming are the tournament players. These are people who are playing for money. They are competing at conventions and at store events for money and or prizes. They min-max their armies. They do math hammer. These are the guys who, are way more focused on playing to win at all cost. So those are your tournament players. Then you have people who come from like the video game community. These are people who get into miniatures gaming because it may be an IP. They played a video game and, now that IP has been turned into a board game or a miniatures game, and they come in to play, and they are maybe a fraction of the community. I wouldn't say they're that much. There's a lot of crossover between video games and tabletop gaming, as we know. And they're different from the pro player, the play to win. But you can also learn a lot from the tournament players, from the people who play professionally, as far as strategies and different techniques and maybe rules, synergies that you hadn't thought of. Where the video gaming community, they like the style or the aesthetic. They're there for the IP. Maybe they don't branch outside of that too much, but you never know, if you put it on the table, maybe they might play. And then we have casual gamers, which I think pretty much make up the core of the gaming community. Besides the other two that we've mentioned, the tournament player and the IP player, the person who's come over from the video games into casual tabletop. The casual gamer are people, maybe they'll have one army, two armies. They may be painted, they may be not painted. They may have proxied in some other models from other game systems that they have. They play, like X-Wing. They play other miniatures games where everything is pre-painted. Maybe they're not fully, embrace the hobbies, but they've dabbled a little bit. Maybe they've come to your paint night, and they tried to throw some paint down on a miniature. And those are the really the bulk of the gaming community that you will run into at a store or that are at a convention. The people that you put it on the table and they'll play. They just want to play and have fun. Win or lose, they don't care. As long as you've told a good story, you've rolled some dice, and you've had a good time. These are the people that you will probably run into the most. The people that are probably having the most fun down there on the tabletop with their happy-go-lucky attitude. And it's something that you really want, because tournament players can be kind of prickly. Like I said, they can be kind of narrow in how they perceive a game, because they're serious about it because money's on the line, and it's always serious when money's on the line. And they usually don't venture too far outside of the rules that they are playing the tournament in or for. There's a lot of gaming conventions that have different tournament prizes and support for tournament gameplay. So you got to give those guys their just due. Because they are out to win, and they're there to do a thing. And if you play against them, just realize this. Sometimes they're probably using you for practice or to test out something new. they're not there just to roll dice and have a good time the way a casual gamer would be. Of course, there's varied degrees to each of these categories, but in general, this is what we're talking about. So, those are the different types of gamers that you'll run into with varying degrees of a subgenre. Like people who play board games with miniatures. Cool Mini or not is really tapped into that market with Zombie Side. And for us Gaddis gamers, we are in the war gaming business with our guards rule system. So you have World War One, World War Two, and now our Cold War release back in November, and the Kickstarter has ended, and we'll be sending out those miniatures for Vietnam '69 with lasers. So we hope you guys enjoy it, and if you have any types of gamers that I may have missed, please put it in the comments. And I'd like to hear what your experience are with the different types of miniature gamers, and if I've missed any subgenre that you may have thought of. Okay, so it helps the algorithm. Share, let other people join in the conversation. But most of all, happy gaming.